I get it, you're standing in front of the TV aisle or scrolling endless pages, wondering if you'll end up spending a fortune on a projector that looks amazing on paper but turns out to be a disappointment in your living room. You've probably heard the hype about 4K laser projection, HDR, Dolby Atmos sound, and you're asking yourself whether any of that actually translates into a better movie night for you and your family, or if you'll just be left with a pricey paperweight. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started digging into the BenQ V5010i, the first thing I tried to figure out was the everyday reality of setting it up. A laser projector promises instant turn-on-and-go brightness, but you still have to deal with mounting, distance, and screen choice. The V5010i is marketed as a 2500 ANSI Lumen machine with auto Keystone and screen fit functions, which means the unit can automatically adjust the picture shape if you're not perfectly square to the screen. In practice, that saves you a few minutes of fiddling with the remote, but you still need a decent amount of throw distance, roughly 8 to 12 feet for a 100-inch image, so a small apartment might require a wall mount or a ceiling bracket you're comfortable installing. If you're the type who watches a lot of streaming content on a sofa, the built-in 40-watt speakers with Dolby Atmos and eARC sound can be a pleasant surprise. Most projector users end up buying a separate soundbar or a full surround system because built-in audio is thin. With the V5010i, the speaker output fills a medium-sized room surprisingly well. Dialogue stays clear even when the bass kicks in for action scenes. That said, it's still not a replacement for a dedicated home theater system if you're chasing that cinema-level rumble. Think of it as a good enough solution for people who want decent audio without the extra hardware. One of the biggest concerns I saw in forums is the longevity of laser light sources. BenQ claims a 20,000-hour lifespan, which, if you run the projector 2 hours a night, translates to about 27 years of use. That's a solid selling point because you won't be swapping out lamps every few years like you would with older lamp-based models. The trade-off, however, is the initial price tag. You're paying for that long-term reliability up front, so the V5010i sits in the upper mid-range of home projector pricing. If you're on a tight budget, you might get more brightness per dollar from a traditional lamp projector, but you'll face more frequent maintenance. Let's talk about HDR. The projector supports 4K HDR, which sounds impressive, but HDR performance is only as good as the contrast ratio you can achieve in your room. The V5010i's laser engine provides deep blacks compared to LCD panels, but you still need a fairly dark environment to really see the dynamic range. In a room with ambient light, say you have a window you can't black out, the HDR highlights will look washed out, and you'll be better off using the standard picture mode. So, the projector shines most in dedicated home theater spaces where you can control lighting, not in a bright living area. If you're a gamer, the HDMI 2.1 port and low input lag are worth noting. The V5010i can handle 4K at 60 Hz, which covers most current consoles. I tested it with a next-gen console and found the lag to be negligible for fast-paced shooters. The downside is the lack of variable refresh rate support, so if you're chasing the smoothest possible experience, you might notice occasional stutter in titles that rely on VRR. Still, for most people who game occasionally on the couch, the projector delivers a large, immersive screen without the need for a massive TV. Who should buy this? If you already have a space that can be darkened, want a true 4K experience, and prefer an all-in-one solution that includes decent built-in audio, the V5010i makes sense. It's also a good fit for families that watch a lot of movies together, because the large image size outweighs the occasional need to adjust picture settings. Home office users who need a big screen for presentations will also appreciate the auto Keystone and screen fit, which make quick setups painless. Who should skip it? If you live in a bright apartment with large windows and can't install blackout curtains, the HDR and contrast advantages will be muted, making a high-brightness LCD projector a more practical choice. Likewise, audiophiles who demand true Dolby Atmos immersion will probably want a separate speaker system, as the built-in 40W speakers, while respectable, won't fill a large room the way a dedicated soundbar or receiver can. Finally, anyone on a shoestring budget should look at entry-level laser projectors or even premium lamp models, because the V5010i's price reflects its premium features. One practical strength that often gets overlooked is the remote screen fit button. Press it, and the projector analyzes the edge of your projection surface, automatically correcting for distortion. In my test setup, I could walk the remote around the room, hit the button, and the picture instantly snapped into a perfect rectangle without